Hello YouTube, Dave here, back on Dartmoor again. This time I've come to the Merrivale area. I'm parked in the Pork Hill car park, which is the largest car park on Dartmoor, I believe. And it's certainly one of the more popular areas that I've been to. There's always lots of people around this part of the moor. It's easy access, you can get to a few really nice tours without much walking. We're going to do a little circular walk today. Well, is it circular or is it out and back? It's kind of circular, or oblong I guess. We're going to take in a few tours in today's walk. We're going to take in a couple of rocks as well. And I don't know the difference between rocks and tours on Dartmoor, so maybe someone can tell me in the comments. But the main tour we're going for today, the biggest one, is Pew Tor. We saw it the other week on the King's Tor circular walk where we went to Heckwood Tor quarry. We saw it from a distance then, and I said that the rocks are kind of arranged almost like a stadium where you've got a flat ground in the middle and all the rocks around it. So we're going to go see that today. We're coming up to our first stop of the day. Not a tour, but rocks. Prowytown Rocks to be precise. I think that's how you pronounce it. Got a view over this little farmland area here. Prowytown Rocks is just down off of the trail. Main trail's just up that way. If you're walking out from the Pork Hill car park, walk south, take the far right hand trail, and then when you come to a little stream you turn off of it and walk down to these rocks. They're not the most prominent coming at them from this angle, but from down below I think they'll look a little bit nicer. Should we go have a look? Oh yeah, much more impressive from this side. From down below it looks a little bit more like a tor, doesn't it? But it's not a tor, it's Prowytown Rocks. I know I said it at the start of the video, but if anyone does know the difference between tors and rocks, if it's more than just the name, drop it in the comments, because I've got no idea. They all look the same to me. Look there, Pew Tor. That's where we're heading up to. High point of today's walk. And even from Prowytown Rocks here, we've already got a view back towards King's Tor over there, and Sampford Tor behind it, where we went previously. That's where we're going, Pew Tor. There's a river crossing coming up. You know river crossings aren't always my friend on this channel, but this one I know there's an easy way across, so there's not going to be any crazy jumps like last time. And there's something interesting at this particular river crossing, so I'll show you that when we get there. So that was Windy Post Cross, 6'9" tall. Doesn't look that big when you're walking up to it, but as soon as you stand next to it you realise just how tall it is. And it was built, or erected I should say, in the 16th century. So that's the 1500s. And it was put there, they think, to replace an even older cross, an older marker for the old Abbott's Way. It used to run across Dartmoor. It's amazing the amount of history here. We're coming up to our next tour now, Feather Tor. So we got that part over there, which I think is just part of the same tour. This is the high point. Just gonna head over to this bit, take in the views. There's Pew Tor behind it. there we are, Feather Tor bagged. Cute little tour. Not the biggest rock formation though. Nothing to write home about really. Pew Tor's more impressive though. That's our next stop. I'll see you there in a minute. There's Feather Tor where we just were. Oh, not far to go now, nearly at the top. Oh, it's not a bad view up here. Is Sharpie Tor, right over in the distance. That's by the Prowytown Reservoir. That's Leiden Tor on the hill there with Ingra Tor in the foreground. On the horizon is South Hessery Tor, and then that's Swell Tor just there. North Hessery Tor with the giant mast on top, right next to Princetown, overlooking the prison. And that's King's Tor, just in front of it where we were the other week. Same walk as Swell Tor. And that's Great Staple Tor over there with the rocks on top of it, look like a gateway almost. And then Cox Tor off to the left there. Well, Pew Tor was beautiful. I would have spent more time up there, but as you can see it was really busy. Loads of families milling about, there's about 4 or 5 of them. One family was setting up a couple of tents, which it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so they really shouldn't have been doing. This is why they're trying to get wild camping banned on Dartmoor. It's because people just can't follow the rules. It's wild camping rules. Small tents, leave no trace, set up just before sundown so you're not bothering anyone, and pack up first thing after sunrise. And people just can't follow those simple rules. Stay within the camping map as well, that's the other rule. I'm pretty sure Pew Tor is within the camping map, but they're simple rules to follow and people don't do it, and it's a real shame because that's why the landowners on parts of Dartmoor are now trying to rescind the right to wild camp. Is because people who do wild camp, and not everyone, a lot of people who wild camp do follow the rules and are respectful, but you get some people who just don't, and it's a real shame because they're going to end up ruining it for everyone else. More Dartmoor ponies. This one's a bit of a punk rocker, look. Blue hair. Well, here we are. We've left Pew Tor behind. Coming up to this little tor here, Sampford Tor. Now, it's not a big one, certainly not very prominent. It's not very high above the ground around it, but it is another tor, one of Dartmoor's tours, another one ticked off. Pew Tor in the background does look gorgeous, it's just a shame it's so busy today. But I'll come back another day, maybe early in the morning. Like I say, it's afternoon now, so Dartmoor's always busier. People have woken up at this point. And Pew Tor from this angle is beautiful, but you can see how busy it is. The tent up in the middle there, someone going up the side there, there's a family on the right hand side there just by those rocks. So busy. Looks a bit like a battleship from this angle, or like one of those old steamer ships like the Titanic. Got the chimneys poking out the middle. Well, I think it does anyway, you probably disagree. I'm on this trail now, come down off of Sampford Tor, back past Pew Tor. I'm just following this trail up, and it should take me round just to the right hand side of Heckwood Tor. And I'll cut off the trail and go see the Tor. Should get a good view of Vixen Tor from along here as well, which is one that we can't go to unfortunately because it's in privately owned land, but we should be able to get probably the best view, the closest view that we can get from Heckwood Tor just up here. But it's not been a bad walk, this one. It's just it's very busy coming out in the afternoon, unfortunately. Like I say, normally I'm out in the mornings, you hardly encounter anyone. It just doesn't have that same kind of isolated feel, that peaceful feel, when you've got lots of families around and kids screaming and stuff like that. But I've left as much of that out of the video as possible, so you won't have to deal with it, just me. And we've still got a couple more to see. We've got Heckwood Tor, like I said, just coming up here, and then Barnhill Rocks on the way back, which is, we'll go back past Windy Post Cross, across the stream there, and then Barnhill Rocks is just up the hill from there on the way back to Pork Hill car park. As we come up the hill here, views are about to open out. That's King's Tor off to the right, and Little King's Tor. Swell Tor further along that ridge line. And this, coming up here, I believe is Heckwood Tor. Never actually been here before. Vixen Tor just on the other side of those trees there, so should get a good view of that from up here. Yeah, this is the opposite side of the valley from where I was a couple of weeks ago when I went to King's Tor, Little King's Tor and Hucken Tor. They're all over there kind of in a line. These trees, this forest down here, is where Hucken Tor was, right on the edge of it, further up the valley on the other side. I don't really even have to veer off the trail because this is the trail, and here we are, Heckwood Tor, right there. These trees and these rocks all covered in moss. There's a lot of it on Dartmoor. It kind of gives everything this shade of green. It gives it an almost spooky feeling, magical feeling as well though, like an enchanted feeling. Look at this. Some old man's beard moss. There's loads of it over those branches there. So having climbed up, those are just some of the lower rocks for Heckwood Tor. Goes on all the way up there. Much bigger tor than it looked from a distance. Just make my way up. But first, I'm going to climb up on top of this one because we're going to have a good view up here of Vixen Tor from the top of this one here. Much easier way up on the other side. Should have gone that way. There we go. There's Vixen Tor. Right out in front of us there. It's quite the view. It's a very impressive tour. Oh, here we are, Heckwood Tor, right up on top of it now. That's looking back at Pew Tor over there. That's Feather Tor in that direction. Big tall one over there is Cox Tor, Great Staple Tor, Great Miz, Vixen Tor in the foreground here. You've got King's Tor, Little King's Tor over there. Hucken Tor, you can't see it though because of the trees. And this, all these rocks along here, this is all Heckwood Tor. It's a much bigger tor than I thought, much more spaced out. It's not the most prominent of tors, as you can see. We're not that high above the surroundings, but it is very spaced out. There's lots of interesting rock formations as well. It's a good tour, Heckwood Tor. Glad I visited it. Another one off the list as well. And with that, it's Barnhill Rocks and then back to the car. It's starting to get a lot greyer now. I've got a feeling it might rain. You can actually see all the way out to Brent Tor in the distance. See there? That's where they built a church on top of a tor. It's quite the climb every Sunday morning, but the views there are stunning. I've been there once before and it was amazing. So I'll definitely be going back there again with the channel. Back at Windy Post Cross. We'll cross over the stream here and then head up the hill to Barnhill Rocks, right up on top of the hill there. And then we're pretty much back at the car. Right, these rocks are going to be slippery. But the boots are good, the grip is good. We made it. On up the hill to Barnhill Rocks, next stop. Well, here we are, Barnhill Rocks. It's not the most impressive point we've seen on these walks, is it? But you do have some nice views though. There's Pew Tor, where we were earlier. That's the Windy Post Cross that we've just climbed up from. Behind it, Feather Tor, and Heckwood Tor behind that. And look now, coming back into view. Now we've reached the top of the hill. Great Staple Tor and Cox Tor. There's one thing I have found at Barnhill Rocks. It's a letterbox. They do this on Dartmoor. They leave these little boxes around, normally on tours, and you write messages in there. 2nd of September 2023 this one was left. Hello, my name is Alfie and I live in Saltash, Cornwall with my mum and dad, Lucy and Paul. We've been doing this letterbox since I was 4 weeks old. Love, Alfie and Mia, the 22 months lab. Oh, Alfie and Mia the lab, 22 months. Last entry was today, so I'm going to have my own one on as well. Because luckily they've left a pen here because I don't have one. There we go, now we're part of this letterbox. Came here for my YouTube video and found this lovely letterbox. Dave does hiking on YouTube for the full video. Keep exploring, Dave. And the most important thing, if you do find a letterbox on Dartmoor, is to put it back exactly where you found it, so that other people can find it as well, and so that the original person who put it out can one day come and collect it. It's not as easy to do this one-handed, but there we go, it's done. And I found it just in here, so I shall push it back exactly where I found it, under there. Wonder who'll find it next. I'm nearly back at the car now, and that's all the tours and rocks done for today. So thank you very much for watching. As always, your support's greatly appreciated. please like and comment, and consider subscribing if you like Dartmoor hiking, me talking nonsense about tours and rocks and views, and just generally exploring. I'm trying to put out one video a week at the moment, so there'll be lots more to come. Until next time, take care. I'll see you again for another walk soon.